Let's do this thing.
Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation. All you need is the will to do right, do right, do right.
And we're live. Welcome to a brand new episode of Anecdotal Arguments, a duct tape production. I am your host, Jay Fry. Summer is on and we're sweaty as balls. What is it?
It's high summer and it's hot as balls.
High summer and it's hot as balls. I am your host, Jay Fry, and with me, as usual, is Sean. How's it going, Sean?
Well, other than technical difficulties, not too bad.
Yeah, and our special guest, because he doesn't show up ever anymore, Garrick. How's it going, Garrick?
I think I'm over the coof, so I'm not dying anymore. Thank God.
Suspected kook. You never got there.
Yeah, I got tested by proxy. I'm sure that's how that works.
That is not how anything works. And maybe like you can't get away with a DUI with that. What if she blew?
I don't know, just a regular coof, I guess. Mm-hmm.
there's like six times now. I think we're up to Omega or Epsilon or something
Got
good.
'em.
Lambda.
Triple Delta variant. Yeah. So we've got plenty to catch up on. We didn't do a show last week. I'm sure you guys were not Garrick, but you weren't here either way. But we also weren't here, so
There was no here, is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever there is, we were not at that time. But we're here now, and what you're listening to is now. Not then, but now. So if we end up going back a little too far and covering something from 3 weeks ago, deal with it. What do you think?
It was June last time we did anything.
It was June. I can't hear Jay Fry as clearly as the other two. That's because Jay Fry is on headphones, which is sad. But the old tutor died, so we'll figure that shit out as soon as possible. But what we got? We got something from Steven's neck of the woods. Fleeing Congress people from the state of Texas are fleeing to D.C. because that's where you flee to when leaving Texas. Apparently, they're trying to dodge because, for the sake of democracy, they will be ignoring democracy to save democracy. Black Magic's asking for more frags. So, do you have anything on this story? Or
I have not heard anything about this story.
okay, so what's happening is, hold on, let's try this. Better.
No.
For better or for worse?
The sound is better, but can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
All right, well then do that, because that is better.
There you go.
All right then. So the Democrats, who hold the minority in both the state house and the Senate in Texas, are going to be fleeing to D.C. in the hopes of gathering support from the majority of Democrats in D.C. to pass a federal mandate on what the state of Texas is attempting to republicly fortify their elections as opposed to all that Democrat fortifying that happened last year.
Right.
So they're trying to flee so that there's too few people to actually hold the vote. And so that's what they're trying to do. Like, how long can you stay there though? Because when you get back, then they'll hold the vote.
Well, that would be abandonment of office, and you can just go ahead and have another election and replace these fools.
I don't know how that works in Texas. I'm pretty sure they just send Texas Rangers to hunt them down.
Send the Rangers.
One riot, one ranger. Send them in. I believe I learned that in my either constitutional law class or an episode of Texas Rangers.
What was that?
Is that song a song? Is that your doorbell?
Whose?
Does Lurch answer you ring?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We heard a very loud gong.
A very loud gong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea.
Well, I'm almost positive Garrett didn't hear my stroke, so this definitely was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything on my end. I don't know what happened there.
That's weird.
That is weird.
We're having weird technical issues. Like I said, I should probably reboot my computer, but that would bring us down for another 20 minutes.
Yeah, no.
Black Magic heard it too.
Huh.
Well,
Well,
not
it must have come from my end, but I have no idea what it was.
Are you wearing noise canceling headphones?
No. I'm actually hardwired in with my headphones, and normally I'm Bluetooth, but now I'm hardwired in because it was just god awful when I tried to go Bluetooth.
Well, my hardwired headphones are noise canceling headphones. That's why I asked. I knew you were hardwired in.
And that's the only operational difference today is that I'm hardwired in instead of Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
I didn't hit any of my sounders, so I have no idea what it was.
all right. Maybe we heard Black Magic stroke then. Maybe that's what happened.
Yes.
We all confirmed that we did hear a gong. Like, it wasn't just a random noise.
It was very.
No idea what that was then.
Do you have a gong sounder?
No?
Your doorbell a gong?
No?
The world's fastest Papa John pizza delivery?
Well, no, he's still 2 miles away. I'm looking at that right now.
All right, then. That'll be enough of that story on
Tejas?
Texas, apparently. We already got the gong, so moving on to the next story.
It's become the Gong Show.
They're like, oh, crap. I was trying to think of what the name of the show was where they end people with the gong, and I couldn't think of it.
Back when the good old days of Hollywood, when everybody was high on cocaine and anything went, entertainment was actually good.
There was nothing better than watching Battle of the Network Stars. I loved that.
Yeah.
Ali Savalas leading his team on a inflatable rowboat challenge against
Phyllis Diller.
Columbo.
All right, I'm going to have to step away and go collect the pizza from the delivery guy, so I'll be back here momentarily. Talk amongst yourselves.
Do your thing, Hoss.
Dean Martin in a celebrity roast didn't even get in the boat because they were all in tuxedos. Friars Club doesn't play that game. Meanwhile, that was actually, it was fun to watch. But also, you always had the same people in movies or on TV shows because they were hired. Like, get you for four shows or like multi-deal contracts. They're actually they've brought that back because that's what Disney's doing with Marvel. Is they hire Benedict Cumberbatch, and yeah, they sign him on for a 4-picture deal, or Martin Freeman or any of these other guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened with the end of Iron Man. Is they hired him for 3 movies. They extended that to 6 movies. They got him in like 9 movies, and he ended his contract with like $1 bajillion. That was a hell of a thing. He went from $3 million for Iron Man to $300 million for Iron Man 3. So, whoever your agent is, way to go. Speaking of, sorry for your loss, Robert Downey Jr. Sean, in one of the dickiest moves of ever dickdom, when he heard Robert Downey Jr.'s father died, and he sent out hopes and prayers to Robert Downey Jr., he mentioned that it's now just Robert Downey. Because we lost the senior. Very, very dickish of him, but I thought it was hilarious. So you got anything to talk about, Rex?
Not really.
Gone? Yeah.
All I know about is the protests going on in Cuba.
Actually, I don't know anything about that. I heard that Biden gave support for it, and then Cuba said it was a America funded protest.
Really?
Is that accurate and accurate?
I mean, Bernie Sanders and Alexandria AOC, they haven't really commented on it because they're protesting against the government, which is not at all how it's supposed to work.
No soundbite there, AOC, huh, Bernie? The Cuban healthcare a little while you're on the subject.
No.
What is it actually about?
Okay, I'm back.
Like I said, no. All I know is that they're protesting the government because, kind of sucks to live there.
You don't know what the protest is about? Just about the government?
Pretty much, yeah. That's all I know.
What are you talking about, Cuba?
Yeah.
You know what it's about? Because I barely read about it.
They realize that communism sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that all?
You didn't realize they were driving cars from the 50s and the 70s that communism sucked?
I don't know. All I know is that they finally realized that communism sucks.
So it was an actual attack on communism.
I believe so.
Okay. Sweet for them.
I haven't heard from my friends in Miami yet, but I know that the Miami mayor said something about it.
Well, Biden said something about it, and Castro replacement came out and said, wait, we're in a replacement now, right? It's not Raul, it's somebody else? Or is it Raul Castro right now?
I'm thinking Raul has kicked the bucket along with Fidel, so I think they're both dead at this point.
So it's a Castro replacement.
Yeah, hang on, let me Google that. Who is president of Cuba?
for life.
Miguel Diaz-Canel.
Oh, Miguel Canal, huh?
Diaz-Canel. He's hyphenated,
Good old Miguel.
which means his mom didn't like his dad.
What was the name of that guy from the second Boondock Saints? Was it Carlos Gonzalez with the hyphenated Gonzalez? Like, Raul.
Yeah, Raul Castro is dead. Fidel Castro is dead. Although they seem to be trending. That's interesting.
There's only room for one Raul in my heart, and that's Julia. And whenever I'm sad, I take out some scenery and I commit it to my memory of Raul Julia, where he's playing bison and he's eating all the scenery, just chewing the shit out of it.
Serving as the president of Cuba since 2019 and is the first secretary of the Communist Party since 2021.
I don't know what that means. But good on him for that. Good. Must be nice being the first secretary. Because we all know about number 2. They're going to kill you and become number 1. I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, if things go right, the mob will kill him, and
yeah.
number 2 will flee to Miami because he's got some lick of sense.
Speaking of port cities, gay choirs. Fuck them, am I right?
No, I'd rather
Yeah.
not.
So I was watching Tim Pool because I do that. I don't know why. Probably because I do not work out, but have my blood pressure elevated, so I do that.
Gotcha.
He was talking. He ended up for some reason talking about the journalist that was suicided himself allegedly. That wrote a book about Hillary Clinton 6 years ago, and he said, like verbatim, he wrote the book. This happened 6 years ago. No way would the Clintons wait 6 years to kill somebody for revenge. And I had to type a comment, and I'm like, if you think waiting 6 years too long to suicide somebody for revenge reasons, 6 years is the perfect amount of time to wait to kill somebody for revenge reasons. Sure, it didn't happen, but I haven't seen a conspiracy theory in the last 3 years that hasn't turned out to be factually accurate within a 6-month period of time.
That's true.
Eating along.
There's no such thing as conspiracy, just real life spoilers.
Yeah, and I mean everything. We've bounties on American soldiers. That was a fact that turned out to be bullshit. That wasn't a conspiracy theory. That was something came from the left. That was utter and complete bullshit. But to this day, they say there were never any videos of anybody dancing in the street celebrating the planes hitting the towers on 9/11. I specifically saw video of it in New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I apparently am a liar, so I'm sure that's true. Because the media said it wasn't true. And that's how that worked. Turns out that one of the best ways to handle the truth is hydrochloroquine and zinc and something else. Clinically tested, 96% in a new article. got the girl fired, and she was on Timcast like 3 weeks ago. But he said, talking about the conspiracies and things like that, he said 4chan reviewed the names of the people in the San Francisco Gay Choir, whatever it's called, and they matched them like 70% to registered sex offenders. But he denounced it by saying some people were going to have the same name. I'm like, that's your research? I looked it up, and they share the name. I get that. I mean, I'm sure other people have the same name as me. I know a retailer does it, a powerlifter does it, a guy who writes for Star Wars. We all have the same name. But in San Francisco, for diddling boys, you're going to say there's multiple Joaquin Ruizes? Maybe? Yes, whatever. Solid research there, Tim. Are you just saying this to stay on the air?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not fake the funk. Yes, he is. And without 100% definitive proof, he cannot put himself on the line to say definitively one way or the other. So he's got to go on the defense and disavow so that he can continue to broadcast. Otherwise, those people who are looking to get him will get him.
Those same two people who wrote it was kind of weird. Not only were they like the only two people to be singled out on the screen, but when it was broader to the entire, my family owns a home in Maine and hard to get to, but I will give you my week there. I read a lot of Stephen King as a kid. I'm not going to Maine ever again.
If you do, take a white van.
I'll get you, Steve. Allow all the pedestrians across. No, go ahead. I'll wait here. Go ahead. But they had special backdrop colors, and they were like the only ones allowed themselves to have their hands on screen. And I hate when people sing with their hands, especially when they're doing range and they elevate and lower their hand like they're like a switch on the board, like an asshole. But those two guys are also responsible for the music boys. The music boys centers around the Afghan tradition of fucking children in your little gang war with the other tribes, and you serve up children to your warlords. So of course they had to make it about an underage kid getting diddled, which is also gross. And they had to donate the proceeds to that and the writer's credits and everything to CARE and shit like that. But no, they claim it's just a joke that we're just kidding about your like.
No, the general consensus is they said the quiet part out loud.
Yes, yeah. They're after your children. They're going to groom your children, and then they want to diddle your children.
That's what Pride Month is all about.
Mm-hmm. And we even see that now, like articles coming out. Keep the kink in Pride Month. I want my kids to see it. I'm like, no. I don't think that's a good thing. Then I heard something about a parent, or not a parent, a teacher in a school district playing pornography for the kids in junior high or elementary school about Just stories like that are disgusting. That's illegal. If your kids tell you about it, call the police on them. In no circumstance is it legal to do those things. Like in California at that Wii Spa, it's still illegal to be naked in the locker room. It's illegal to be naked in a bathroom. There is no caveat to public indecency in a bathroom stall. It is generally agreed upon. I mean, come on, you have to pull your pants down to poop. So no one gets arrested for it. But yeah, there's no law about keeping men out of women's restrooms and women out of men's restrooms. It's about, there's general laws like exposing your genitals to a child is illegal. You don't do it for breastfeeding parents, but yeah, that's still a crime. There are victims, and you're the perpetrator. That is a crime. Your intent was for children to see your junk. That's the guilty intent and the guilty action are there. That is the basis of a crime. Mens rea and actus rea. So we're not sure because there was no, the kids didn't come out, and the alleged person who showed themselves in the Wii gym or the Wii spa didn't come out. But Matt made it sound like it was a nude gym. Was it a nude spa or was it a locker room?
Spas are in a weird area because people are naked all over the place in spas, but you're supposed to be like covered with like a robe if you're not going to do one of the things that it's acceptable to be nude doing. So if you go into a locker room, disrobe, and then put on a robe, like shed your street clothes, put on a robe, and then go to do whatever the activity is you're doing in the spa, that's considered normal. So it's kind of like a workout gym. It's not uncommon to be naked in the locker room if you're in the process of putting on other attire or grabbing a shower or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
But
and I've had experience with the old man who's naked for way too long.
Right, yeah, no, and I don't know what that's about, but I think every gym has that where the old ass man is in there, airing out his business with the dangly balls down to his knees and just too comfortable in being in that state without putting on a towel or some shorts or something.
Yeah. Now, I got it. When I was a kid, I understood it. Like, when I was a kid, old people were vets. Like, every one of them was a vet. So, they showered with 20 other dudes for half their lives.
Right.
Or a significant portion of their lives, so they didn't care anymore. And then they're old and they just don't care anymore. But nowadays, no. Stop it. The urinal at Tiger Stadium was a donut. Like, when I was a kid, before they got the new stadium. So you literally peed in a donut trough, shoulder to shoulder with every other dude in the place. Especially if they have a hot tub in the changing room. Why would they have a hot tub in the changing room?
Well, and why are you naked in a public hot tub? Put on a fucking bathing suit, you goddamn cretins.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand the appeal. I personally, and this is just me personally, have never sent an unsolicited dick pic, so I don't understand the appeal of people seeing my genitalia. Not that I'm not proud of it. I polish it all the time to make it sure it has a shine, but it's just Not something I do.
I don't know. It still kind of weirds me out whenever I would go to the gym and there would be somebody showering somewhere in the locker room. I don't know. I'm just not comfortable with it.
Well, in high school, I showered in my swim trunks. But I also left my swim trunks there to dry. So it was like washing them. And I also would shower at the gym in my trunks and then shower out of them, because I didn't want it to reek of chlorine in my gym bag. But it didn't annoy me or anything. It was just like something I always have dealt with. So it's like it's part of it, but it's not like a fun part. Like, oh, and there's that naked old man that is in every gym ever. Like, I don't expect you to like be at a beach changing from swim trunks to your underwear and pants with your towel wrapped around you, but like, drop the towel, fold it, okay, put it, okay, yeah, all right, towel's done. Now underwear. No, don't stand there. No, underwear. No, don't. He lifted his leg. God damn it. Now, Captain Morganing on a bench, and I have to watch it for the next 17 minutes.
Well, you got to let that shit dry out, right?
That's what the towel's for. Just pat your nuts dry. Come on, gentlemen. No, I don't have to watch it for 17 minutes. I'm getting changed. But like the nightmare is changing between two old men who are airing dry, and you have no place to look except at your locker, with your door open, hopefully blocking as much as possible of your view.
Now, we all agree that this is what old men do, but this is a woman's locker space. They're not used to this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've imagined women's locker rooms since I was 12 years old when my superpower was invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know how old women do it. Apparently, in teen comedies that are seen on late night on USA, there's only a towel for the hair, but I don't know for sure. I know my wife had 3 robes, so apparently there was some drying off done in that process, but I don't get it. Is it exhibitionism? Is that what it is? Or is it like a perviness? Or is that like, does it get them off? I don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, flashers have been a thing for as long as I can remember. Streakers too, so it's got to be something along those lines.
Well, I
I
just thought that was adrenaline rush because you're not standing still. Like both of those are done. Like flashers flash, then they run away. Streakers running the whole time. I went to U of M. We have the naked mile. Generally, it's not people you want to see naked.
well,
I never did it.
That's why nude beaches are always disappointing. Sure, they sound cool on paper, but in practice, it's the people you don't want to see naked.
Mm-hmm. I went to college with a girl whose parents owned a nude beach, and she 100% is somebody I wanted to see naked. And we went to the beach with the property, and she was clothed the entire time. She didn't leave the parents' practice. There was nudity, nothing you wanted to see. Nothing good at all. Still thinking about it. Oh God, somebody stop it. So there's the accusation, not whether it's true or not, but 70% of 55 choir people. So that's what that's well into 40 of 40 of 55 were on had a name that was linked to a registered sex offender.
Wait a minute. How much percentage?
70?
And there's 55 of them.
Yeah. So I figure that's over 40.
Hang on, I did that wrong.
Well, I did 25% and I did 60. So 30 would be 50%. So half of 30 is 15, 45. Then I subtracted 5 people and 5%, and I gave it 40 out of 55.
That's probably pretty close.
Put a figure. 36, we'll call it. 36 out of 55. Is that somehow better? Not particularly. Now, that's not saying it is guaranteed that those 36 people were sex offenders, but 40 people out of the 55 had names that were directly the same as registered sex offenders. And given the gay lifestyle in San Francisco, yeah, that's people who stuck their penises in holes.
I
And
think there's a case to be made for both arguments. I think that Tim is right that a lot of them, a significant portion of them, could share names and not be the people that are the actual sex offenders. However, let's say it's half of them that aren't that share names, and I'm being generous. Half of them that share names are just the wrong person that shares the name.
35%.
That is still 20 of those 40 people.
20 of 55.
Yeah. That's still a large margin.
Considering that homosexuality in a populated area such as San Francisco is still only 6.4%. Now that's of 5% across the entire United States. 6% are in one city in San Francisco, and they have an entire neighborhood, which makes it 80% of that neighborhood, but that's one neighborhood in all of San Francisco, which is known for their gay, and it's still less than 7% of an entire population of a city. So I guess the question is, what's the population of San Francisco?
Yeah, well, I mean, all it boils down to is these guys are creeps. Doesn't matter what their sexuality is, these guys are fucking creeps.
Mm.
These are not my kind of.
Nope, the world would be better without them.
Which is a shame because I like musicals. I was in 3 and led a production of 1 in high school. And I still to this day cannot stand theater kids. But there's 2 types of people in Hollywood. Assholes theater kids. And it's mostly the assholes who are the pedophiles. So I will take the theater kids. Steve and I had to talk about that a couple months back, where we were naming people we liked, and if their background was theater or pedophilia. That's pretty much how it divided. Like, do they come from TV shows or do they come from theater? TV shows. Bell is one of those rare exceptions where they're super liberal and theater kids. Pieces of speaking of, what the hell? Drake Bell got sentenced to 2 years probation for ruining a child's life with sexual uh, harassment. Harassment? No, it wasn't harassment, but it wasn't assault either. Is there another one in there?
I don't know.
It was like a sexual harassment deal. So see what it was. If I just step in a comic and get roasted on Twitter, yeah, I don't care. I love me some deep talk shit about him.
Garrick, what are you doing to the microphone? Get it out of your pants and put it on the desk.
Hey,
No, Garrick, you're fine. Don't pull it in there and put it on any desks.
oh Lord.
Kevin Smith, who actually did not write nor direct He-Man, says He-Man is black.
Yeah, of course he did.
So that means nothing to me. All right, come on. Drake Bell sentenced to 2 years probation for crimes against a child. Victim says he ruined my life. Another Nickelodeon star, so they're getting as bad as Disney. Has been sentenced to 2 years probation plus 200 hours of community service. He cannot contact with the victim. The 35-year-old previously pled guilty to 1 count of felony attempted child endangerment and 1 count of disseminating materials harmful to juveniles. The woman, now 19, alleged in her impact statement she was sexually assaulted by the former child star on multiple occasions when she was 15.
Yikes.
Jeez.
He was a huge part of my childhood, and in return, he ruined my life. Every night, I dread going to sleep because I don't want to see him in my nightmares. The victim first met Bell in 2014 when she was only 12, idolized the actor, calling him a hero and her biggest fan. They texted for years, in which a teenager allegedly was groomed. The relationship developed online, sexual nature when she was 15.
Okay, so I will say this. I don't doubt that that's a reality, but even as a minor, she was a willing participant, and this sounds like a cash grab.
Apparently, on December 1st, 2017, she attended a Cleveland show where she claimed she was forced to perform sexual acts backstage. And her aunt took her to say goodbye to Bell at a hotel where she claimed forced to perform sexual act again. Claimed that he is a pedophile, lacks any sort of factual support, he told the judge, emphasizing not accept responsibility for the plea. There's no such finding. The actor is a pedophile. A grown man does not engage in inappropriate text messages to a teenager, the judge told him. Your position of celebrity status allowed you to nurture this relationship. Well, sex offender status will be reviewed after probation. I mean, the Cosby stuff could be a cash grab, but a cash grab is, you threatening to sue and get money. He had to plead guilty to this.
Well, again, I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm just saying that the the accuser is probably playing whatever happened up for her own reasons. I'm not defending the guy. I think it's shit, but I think that it's not quite entrapment, but it's close to it. I mean, he was a willing participant and shouldn't been, should have fucking known better because it's disgusting. But that being said, this girl has got some culpability. And
No, not at 15.
well, okay, so
18, absolutely. At 15, she could be throwing herself at me. In the state of Ohio, where it's illegal, it's 100% my responsibility to say no and kick her in the face off her knees. That's how it is. She could be begging for it. I'm breaking the law.
correct.
That's
Correct. But what happens when a woman doesn't get what they want?
then there's no proof.
Which might be the case here, other than some inappropriate text messaging. We don't know that there was sexual acts for certain. All we have is her saying so. And he took a plea, which means that he pled down.
Yeah, which means there's something there.
No, I'm not saying there isn't something there. I'm just saying that you cannot take the victim's word as gospel truth here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't generally take anybody's truth 100%, but in this instance, she could 100% have been begging for it with like glitter on her butthole, and you still can't stick your finger in it to pretend it's a doorbell. You can't do it. She's below the age.
I agree.
And
like I said, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying you got to take what is being reported with some scrutiny and question it. Basically, you have to say justice is being served in the fact that he pled down to something and is serving time. Even if it's community service, it's still time. Yeah, he's shit. Agreed, he's shit. But let's not get too far into it beyond that.
all right, I was 35 playing Call of Duty with a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. And every time they thought they'd get mature and cuss, I'd say, do your parents allow you to cuss like that? Because you're still in their home. I didn't say, yeah, you teabag that fucking zombie. Nut him right in the eyeball. There was no encouragement. They're children. I am the adult. Plus, I just really can't stand kids swearing.
Yeah.
Movies, television, no, I don't like it at all. But, I didn't allow that. I wasn't their best buddy. I was a really shitty zombie player, and they were really good at... One of the kids was a top 100 door buyer. In Call of Duty, the one that was in the desert with the old-timey saloon, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. Shit. I like that map, too.
Yeah. 2 million players. He was one of the top 100 door buyers. And the other kid, his name was Jaybird, he was a top 1,000 reviver. So I had to explain this to one of their moms once. They're like, you're an adult. I'm a full-grown adult. He's like, why are you playing with my son? I'm like, one, we play the same game. We like it. And he is one of the top door buyers in the entire game. That means I don't have to spend money, and he does it, and I can keep him alive by buying extra guns. And that's what he likes to do, and I like to do it, and he's a reviver. And that's really important to keep me off my ass on this game. Not a pedo, just really suck at this game. Like, I'm not grooming your child, I promise. Well, I am, but grooming the Bible. But yeah, you don't flirt with a 12-year-old at 30 years old.
Sir, we elected one president.
This is true. He's got you there, buddy.
I But I mean, Trump said some pretty weird stuff about his kids too.
Yes, he
But
did.
that's
Well, I
that's
mean, and again, it was weird because it wasn't necessarily wrong. It's just weird because it was his kid.
yeah.
Ivanka is hot.
Make no mistake.
He's absolutely correct. It's just weird because he's her dad.
Yeah, but I don't say that about kids in general. Like, oh, she's gonna be a heartbreaker. Like, dude, she's 7. Give her 10 years before you start weirdly fantasizing about her. Like Jessica Alba in Idle Hands was one of her first movies. She was legitimately underage when she was yawning in her underwear on the bed, or strapped to the car or whatever. Like get us the 20-year-olds playing the 16-year-olds. Stop it. Especially if you're gonna have mature gropey bullshit going on. Percy Jackson, the girl playing, she's supposed to be playing 12. She was 24. Perfectly fine with that. In the 80s, you had like 35-year-olds playing high school kids. And I'm like, well, they're all going to get murdered, so I'm okay with it.
90210. They were all
Yeah.
in their late 20s playing teenagers. Except for Brian Austin Green, who was actually a teenager.
Yeah, look at how great he's doing.
Yeah, well, he is still married to Megan Fox, is he not?
No, he's dating Machine Gun Kelly, whatever the hell that is.
Oh, okay then.
But Hollywood's just a weird place, man. Like Bruce Willis, I love Bruce Willis to death, but like he was way too cool with his wife divorcing him and dating Ashton Kutcher. Like,
well, I think we can all agree that Demi Moore is a fucking nutcase and always has been.
I don't care how happy I am that my crazy bag of nuts wife is now somebody else's problem. I'm still not letting him sit in my car with me. Like, he's not going to be holding the light while I work on my engine. And like, still, like Bruce Willis took him under his wing or some weird shit. Like, no, Bruce, stop it. That's weird.
I mean, the same thing happened with Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith.
I thought they just had an open relationship. I thought they were still married. I mean,
they are still married, but she basically just found some other dude and started banging him.
Fresh Prince had so much going for him, and he chose that. Just even needs to explain what. Yeah, like there is just so much creepiness coming out of both Nickelodeon and Disney at this point. Like we all knew about Dan Schneider. Fuck you. I actually liked Head of the Class.
Fuck you. I actually liked Better Off Dead. Gee, I'm sorry your mom blew up, Ricky. I thought Ricky was an awesome character.
No, that was
That was Dan Schneider.
What? No, that was Oh no, wait, I think it's Herman Ted. The other fat guy.
Yeah, the guy who does the voice promos out here for The Mountain. That guy from Herman's Head. Yeah, it was Dan Schneider in Better Off Dead.
I was thinking the cook from McHale's Navy. That's who I was thinking of. Same guy.
I should know that guy's name because he's like on the road.
I do know.
Here. He must live out here.
Probably. yeah, just awful. And I'm not sure if it's Hollywood or if it's California in general that's doing it to these kids, but something in between those two, fucking them up.
It's a little of both, I think. Although a lot of the Nickelodeon stars are from Florida. Did you say something, Jay? Because Garrick was fondling his mic again, and I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, roll over in the other direction, bro. Are they from Florida?
Yeah, like what's her name? Not the chick from iCarly, but the Victorious, that one. What's her
Oh,
name?
Justice.
Victoria Justice. Yeah, she's from Hollywood, Florida, and I think that's where Ariana Grande and that other chick that was on that show is from.
Jeanette McCready.
Not Jeanette McCready, the other one, the witchy
Oh,
one.
Gillis.
Yes, Elizabeth Gillies or Gillis or
Gilly.
whatever. Yeah, her.
I don't know.
I think they're all from South Florida.
Well then, good for them. But they're not particularly degenerate that I can think of. Like Ariana Grande is kind of doing the mature, short shorts, waving my ass, I'm an adult now thing. But
Well, she kind of dropped off the planet in the last couple of years. I haven't really heard anything about her, so she must be doing something a little bit different that nobody cares about. And Jeanette McCurdy has straight up disappeared. After last I heard, she was dating some NBA player, and that was 3 years ago.
Last time I saw her was on Jordan Peterson's podcast, and that was a few months ago.
no, she's got a TV show she's doing.
Mm.
I think it's for Hulu, though. But yeah, those girls seem not bad, I guess. But
Well, I mean, you got to think those are the same girls that were exposed to Dan Schneider.
well, Florida girls, so they get kind of a pass in this game.
I mean, Jeanette McCurdy was one of Dan Schneider's main predatory victims.
And she got me too, or not me too, the fappening.
Did she?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But she was 19 at the time, thankfully.
Okay.
My browser history would have gotten me in trouble.
And then that girl that was on Jake and Dross that ended up being iCarly, Miranda something or other.
Cosgrove.
Cosgrove, yeah, I don't know what's happened to her. She went off to college and nobody's heard from her, as far as I know.
Good for her.
She does YouTube.
Oh, does she?
Well, that's
The girl I was talking about earlier, who was 12 or 24, playing 12, she's since the quarantine happened, she was doing YouTube, and it's just stupid and like enjoyable stupid. Alexandria Daddario, and she's still doing movies, but in between movies, she's on YouTube with her best friend doing stupid shit like clothes hauls. Like, I got this at Goodwill. Like, you're worth $4 million. Stop shopping at Goodwill. Get a sponsor, fuckface. Your gorgeous eyes and body.
I don't know. I think she's weird looking.
Alexandria Daddario can look weird. If she's not in makeup, her eyes are like
too bright.
Spooky.
Yeah, too bright.
But so are her sisters. Like, her sisters have been on, and I'm like, this whole family is gorgeous. Witches. Gotta be witches. Witches?
Wiccan.
Oh no, witches. Full on, have the power, control men. Witches. What else do we got? We got okay, I got news right here. Let's look up some news.
Well, let's talk about the movie review so we can get that out of the way.
Oh
Lord.
Here's what Matt needs to do. He needs to stop. At the end of his movie reviews, he has to take his new movie and judge it against the old movies. Like, he gave Blade Runner a lower review than Tremors because it was worse than Tremors. No, he needs to up his Tremors review.
Well, okay, so after last night's review, do you understand why I don't want him to review Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah, I was defending you because somebody was suggesting Big Trouble in Little China. Like, did they have that one? I'm like, listen, I got a buddy who would knife you. You'll throw the knife at him, he'll catch it and throw it back at you.
It's all in the reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
For their suggestion, don't do it. He has to drink this funny, you know, what is that? That's dry ice. Just
Yeah.
a cup of.
I feel pretty good.
A little hot in here. Is it just me? Got Gracie Law. Oh God, love that movie. So yeah, All right. So my first time ever eating chicken parmesan. I give it a 3, but then like I have like a really bad version. I give it a 2. So that 3 is literally the best I've ever had. So that's really my number one chicken parmesan. You need to judge accordingly. You have far too high of hopes for movies. You need to readjust. Like, you need to recalibrate. Bring your 2s up a little. Because movies you're seeing are gold. And you're not giving gold medal numbers. So you need to recalibrate. Your 4s are now 5s. Your 3s are now 4s. Your 2s are now also 4s. What the fuck is wrong with you? Tremors is a classic, you bag of dicks.
Man, you feel so strongly about it. Now, I agree with him that it's an overanalyzed movie, but it is not, one wiki bad. It is not that terrible. I mean, come on, brother.
It is if you believe Decker was the replicant.
But it makes no sense that he's a replicant. It totally ruins the movie.
That takes it from the 4 that it is to a 1.
Right.
You're the shittiest replicant. It doesn't make sense. You're not okay. So there's a book called Artemis Fowl, and there's a character. She's the first ever female LEP officer, which is leprechaun. They made her boss Judi Dench, which means earlier in Judi Dench's career, she had to be the first LEP officer to become the LEP captain. It completely fucks the entire relationship between her and her boss, who treated her harshly because she's the first and she has to be the best. It completely fucked that dynamic. And making Decker a replicant completely fucks the interactions with every single person he has, especially when he's having conflict with them. It ruins it. It's like actually, I can't even think of a fair comparison to make. It's like all right, so John Carpenter has come out and said both, yes, I'm talking about the Jews for They Live, and no, this is about corporatism, which are really pretty synonymous, actually. So he's come on and said it both ways, and I think that's what happened with what the fuck is his name? He does it all the time. He did it with Brilliant. Who the fuck? Or Alphabet? Stanley Kubrick.
Eric's got his mic in his pants again. Hold on.
I'm sorry. Jeez. This thing gets heavy.
Mhm. That was that's the Philip K. Dick, right? The Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yes, that was Philip K. Dick.
Yeah. So Ridley Scott does it where if he finds something that sounds more plausible, he'll just jump glam onto it, and I don't like it. Have you guys seen the Tomorrow War yet?
No.
Yeah.
John.
I have not.
Ah. Okay. Tomorrow War stole from Aliens just so fucking so fucking hard. But it's all the behind.
I think it really robbed a good bit off of what was the Tom Cruise movie?
The Live Die Repeat, or
Yeah, that movie. But that's not what it's called though.
I think that's like a subtitle of it. The Day Before Tomorrow, tomorrow after today. Steven!
Something yes, well, whatever. It's something to that effect. I think it stole a lot from that kind of plot setup.
Well, there's no original
Which
ideas in Hollywood, so.
not anymore. There hasn't been an original one since the Matrix, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, as long as you don't count the second and third movie.
Well, no, you never count the second and third because they're just, worse versions of the first one.
I don't know.
Actually,
it's arguable that the second two Star Wars movies were better than the first one.
Yeah.
No. Ewoks are a sin.
Okay, so maybe not Return of the Jedi, but Empire.
So it's
Empire is always the best movie.
So it suffers from the same thing that the Chris Nolan Batman movies suffer from. First one was shit. Second one great. Third one good.
I like them all, but I do not need a retelling of anybody, really. I know Batman. I know Superman. If you can't do it in 5 minutes, stop it. I don't need an hour and a half on Batman. Thank you.
I liked Batman Begins just because it was a different take on it. Like it showed like actual work as opposed to I'm Batman, just because I'm crazy. But there's nothing original about Batman, period. So, I mean, he's just an amalgamation and a ripoff of other shit.
Yeah. There was a time in Superman's history where he was green and he shot little Supermans out of his hand, like Scorpion. So...
Well, and the original Superman couldn't even fly.
I don't need another backstory. Flight makes no damn sense. Just at all.
Well, okay, so it does if the original idea of Superman flight was basically the same as the Hulk. He's so strong he can propel himself into the air for a really long period of time. But he's still coming down. It's still a jump. Iron Man flight makes sense because it's literal propulsion.
Yeah, or the fuck's that guy's name from the guy with the wings from X-Men?
Oh,
no?
Angel.
Yeah, he had wings.
I mean, Storm you can kind of get away with because she can literally manipulate the weather, so she's basically sitting on top of a tornado at all times. So,
and she wears baggy ass clothes that act as parachutes.
Yeah.
Like she always had that freaking shawl that was like well, in the cartoon she had that shawl. Right. And in the comic she had that shawl.
Ah, shit. I'll be back.
So, John, John is wrong and I'm right about everything. If you disagree, that's what I thought. All right, so what else we got? Backpacking with a quilt. The trail less traveled. Pass on that. Delta variant phase with THC. His daughter, Stanley. What's she up to? Don't know. Best Evil Superman? No. Margot Robbie didn't know Zack Snyder killed off Harley Quinn. Pass. I think the psychotic episodes. Why am I? Oh, that's right. I know why. I got in a fight with somebody over that chick who got in trouble for weed. If THC masked other does. Sports Illustrated swimsuit model Brooke Nader rocks another sheer epic dress for Miami runway show after going viral. Jared Leto's wild UFC 264 outfit sparks hilarious meme. Pass. I don't care. Lawyers from pro-Trump election suit. This is from Politico. There's a picture of Trump on the headline, and it says lawyers retreat from pro-Trump election suit. Not a Trump election suit, a pro-Trump election suit. There's been claims all over the place that Trump's lost every attempt to sue for the election. He's lost like 36, 38. He had 3, and he did well. 2 got dismissed and 1 was dropped, but he had 3. Other people have done the lawsuits because they fucking care about their country and they don't want to see what's happening happen. 3 months later, we're still looking into the test results because Maricopa County won't abide by the judge has to yell at them on a near weekly basis that they're not cooperating with the audit. Passing laws to keep the fortifications of the election from being just fuckery. Well, if they're abandoning their station to get away from, there is no legitimate reason why to get your prescription medication you need an ID and you don't need one to vote. If you're looking for fuckery. Any arguments with that?
No.
I didn't pay any attention to this several tied to Haitian assassination plot. Were previous law enforcement informants? Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Apparently, everybody at a Burger King quit, and they put up a sign that said, "We all quit." Glenn Berry, who was 3rd place in the Olympic trials, picked out at racist abuse directed at England soccer players. I think it was a phrase for English soccer players. Did you see that on Twitter? It's just a bunch of politicians and showing that they couldn't have done anything without the blacks. Oh, Shakari Richardson. That's the girl from the THC story. She was using THC to cope with the death of her mother. And it's like, oh, so you don't normally smoke weed. You just used it to cope with the death of your mother. And happened to win a 100-meter race in a record time. Marijuana is not a performance enhancer as far as to be used during a race or before a race. It's to be used for a faster and more beneficial recovery after a practice. You work your ass off, you get those acids that build up in your system and your tiredness, and you smoke a little weed, and it's an easier sensation to deal with, and it cuts back on the acid and allows you to practice harder, longer the next day. Like, you have a certain amount of fatigue when you start the day. It gets destroyed by the THC that you smoked that night, and it allows for better practicing.
All right, guys, I gotta go to bed. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, you take care.
Yeah.
Derek or Garrick fled the call because apparently he's pro THC, and we're not going to have that on this stream. He's out of here. Get the fuck out. Gone. So now it's just us. What do you guys want to talk about? You gonna bash the Blicks for their cheating in sports, or well, that's actually something I found pretty funny in the beginning of the Tomorrow War. Was they were all gathered around to celebrate watching a football game on the and that is definitely something for non-Americans, because that was some bullshit. like I couldn't even imagine sitting around watching a soccer game and cheering for it. That's the stupidest shit ever. Kind of made me giggle. And there was some other stuff like the most diverse classroom in North America is what Chris Pratt, that's a class he taught. The important student, the single important student, was black. His partner was black. The scientist was black. Just all these things. It's like, good God, diversity is plentiful at the Amazon studio. But the one of the characters was the brother of a character I really like. Aldous Hodge's little brother was one of the characters. Really liked him. But you guys didn't watch the movie, so I can't talk about it. Watch the goddamn movie, and we'll have a talk about it. I'm not going to read you what this thing is about going on in Cuba. Talked about the gay choir. Episodes of Leverage are out. What do you guys got? Anything? I will be willing to give my topic or my opinion on any topic if you start now. So go ahead and do that, and I will start giving the opinions. Nothing? Huh? No opinions? Fight me, Black Magic. Come on. I know you want to. Nothing? You guys suck. All right, then. See what Steven's doing here real quick. Go on the old Telegraph. Send in link. See the Germ Zone. Right, what else did I watch recently that we could talk about? Because I haven't been reading the news and I've been working most of the time. Reading a book series about a sorcerer. That is not interesting. You wouldn't want to hear about that. Well, here we go. We've got nothing going. Thank you, Sean, for abandoning me. Steven, wake up. Nobody? Thanks, guys. Do, 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 do. All right. The White House is finally paying attention. Cuba protest forces Biden's hand. Reverse the failed Trump policies on Cuba. Didn't expect to have to figure out how so quickly. What failed policies did Trump have about Cuba? Asked in March whether Joe Biden intended to lift his predecessor's last-minute designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters a Cuba policy shift is not currently among President Biden's top priorities. She gave an almost identical response a month later, so that's April. When pressed for reaction, Cuba's head of the Communist Party, 6 months in, refrain makes one thing clear. Blah, 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 blah. Protest Cuban under example. Where was there Cuban terrorism? What was that about? I have no idea. I sent you a telegraph. Get on the Twitter, or get on the thingy that we have here. Chemicals in the water turn the freaking frogs gay. Steven, I sent you the meat link. Link the meat. That's right. Hola.
What's up?
Would you just wake up, princess? Did you have a little nap? Was it a nice nap?
uh, yeah, it was until I heard my name being shouted on the TV.
Shouted. I was barely screeching at all.
Well, what's up?
Sean's on call, so he had to answer a call.
Ah,
So, watch a good movie.
and you were talking about films, now you're talking about current events?
We're not talking about shit right now. I got left alone. Garrick took off on me. I had no topics because I've been working the last 2 weeks straight. All I
That
did was
sucks.
War and Leverage. So, how was Black Widow?
Um, I'm a little disappointed I didn't see it at theaters, but the way I see it is y'all make it to where we don't have to. We're gonna choose the cheaper option.
Yeah. Uh,
It was
uh,
a decent, in my opinion, it was a decent film, but it was a lot of action that was a little unnecessary, and they're just doing that to compensate. But as far as the storytelling aspects go, we know that she's gonna survive because we know her fate from Endgame, and they the only purpose of this movie, other than to follow a character that you like, is that the we everybody always wants to know what happened in Budapest that was so significant.
did they talk about it or was that ignored?
They visit Budapest.
Oh, so they do. Is Hawkeye in it, or is he just randomly talking about something he has no idea what he's?
There's a photograph of Hawkeye, but Jeremy Renner himself is not in it.
That's stupid. Um, Steven Dorff. Steven Dorff?
What about him?
He said that he was embarrassed for Scarlett Johansson.
He what for Scarlett Johansson?
He was embarrassed for her.
I think he was talking about the Marvel movies in general, how they've evolved into sort of what that other director said. He said that they're not movies, they're just like amusement park rides. And I think that's what Steven Dorff was saying something similar to.
Oh, Steven Dwarf he had awful too. Like he was just a tornado of blood that played his part.
Huh?
Uh, well, one of the the ending they had for Blade, Steven Dorff turned into the Blood God, and Blade was like literally cutting up blood like he was a sashimi. Terrible. And thankfully, they redid it and had an actual sword fight that was a much better ending than what was supposed to be.
Hmm.
It was an outtake. It wasn't.
Why does everybody hate the third Blade so much? I liked it.
Okay, it's probably my second favorite. Blade and then Blade Trinity. Was Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool before Deadpool?
Yep. Wait, was his character's name Wade in Blade Trinity?
No, he was Hannibal King.
Okay. That would have been funny if his name was Wade in the movie. And that was a wait, no.
Yeah, it was
I
Hannibal
was,
King.
I was about to say it was probably the last Jessica
I
Biel movie
I
I've
didn't think
seen.
Dominic Purcell played a great Dracula, but he wasn't bad.
Dominic Purcell.
I love Jessica Alba in anything where she wears tight clothing. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's
This.
Jessica Biel, not Alba.
That's it. What?
That's Jessica Biel, not Jessica Alba.
Jessica Biel, yeah.
Right. I'm surprised the dogs weren't barking their
Black
heads
Widow
off.
is whack. I don't think Black Widow's whack.
I thought Black Widow was supposed to be her superhero name. I thought it was a little stupid that the organization where the girls get get kidnapped and trained into becoming spies, kind of like It was it had a lot of Red Sparrow mixed in it, but or they don't show the full training. It was just like a montage where they show the training, and except for the sparrows and in the Maggie Q movie, The Naked Weapon, they show how the girls get kidnapped and forced to kill each other as part of training in order to rise in the ranks. And they don't show in the Black Widow movie because it's Disney that those girls also learn to use sex as a weapon in order to be a spy.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: Black Widow was a bad guy.
Huh?
Sex.
Yeah, you were breaking up. I wonder if it's breaking up in the stream too.
My phone went funky. What was that?
Yeah, I said you're breaking up and it's hard to hear you, and I wonder if it's doing that in the stream too.
Yeah. She was an assassin. She's called the Black Widow because she ingratiated herself with sexual partners and then murdered them. Nick
Yeah,
Fury,
they don't explain that at all in her movie.
Nick Fury found her and changed her ways.
Yeah, they don't show that either. She talks about why she left the the Black Widows to fight for the Avengers, but they don't show that.
Huh.
It was entertaining, I'll give it that much, but it wasn't it's not rewatchable like the other Marvel movies are.
Well, I found that with basically all the Iron Mans. The Iron Mans were entertaining to watch, but they were not rewatchable.
Well, sometimes we have our binge nights where we rewatch shit, and we've recently rewatched, well, we're trying to watch all the Marvel movies in chronological order, and I think we left off on Iron Man 2.
The only thing worse than Iron Man 2 is Iron Man 3. So, which is kind of funny since Iron Man started off the whole thing.
Well, it's funny to see how when you go to the stores and they have a shitload of Shang-Chi merchandise on the shelves that nobody seems to want to buy, but any of the other Marvel Legends action figures, they're empty because people seem to actually still be buying them.
Well, that's not nothing new. Like they had put out Transformer merchandise back in the early '80s before the movie came out. They didn't start selling until the movie came out.
Well, yeah, they do that with all the Marvel and DC movies. They release what they can of the merchandise, unless sometimes the merchandise is a spoiler, so they hold off on that stuff. But they release what they can before the movie hits theaters. And shoot, the Black Widow merchandise has been on the shelves for over a year now, and the movie's been delayed.
Yeah. I was actually I wasn't surprised by Godzilla or King Kong versus Godzilla with
Hmm.
the Mecha Godzilla surprise.
Hmm. I
There,
I have yet to watch that. I'm pretty
I
sure I can get it if I wanted to.
oh well, then I ruined it for you. My bad, bro. Mecha
I'm
Godzilla.
probably I'm probably not gonna watch it.
I was actually because the first fight takes place very unfair to Kong in the first fight. And I was like, this is bullshit. And then I'm like, there's got to be a second fight.
And was there?
Yeah, there was technically like two more, but oh yeah, I loved Ready Player One. So like Toy says, every time I watch Ready Player One, I like it more and more. And Ready Player One was really good.
I just recently rewatched Ready Player One, and
Nostalgia
every
stick.
time every time I rewatch it, I'm looking for other Easter eggs. Like, who is that in the background? And I notice something different every time.
Yeah, it's a I hate digital people. The scene when he first goes into
Hang on. Did you find your key? Where was it?
all four of us watch. Pause, Steve.
Oh, okay, and you were saying, Mr. Fry?
It's like Uncanny Valley, where just there's something not right about a digital person, and whether it's like Steve Jackson in Van Helsing, but like the digital person putting on their glasses and going into the I don't know the internet or whatever it is. That first time, I hated it.
Okay.
But then once they're in there, they're not like people. He's an alien. She's an alien. The butler's a freaking robot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're not regular people anymore, and I can deal with those in digital. But being a person digital, bitch.
What?
It makes my teeth itch. See somebody digitally composited in a rendering. There's just something that really irks me. So them having real purpose. Them going out of their way to make.
Dude, you are breaking up really bad. I can barely hear anything.
Oh, I was talking about the Uncanny Valley.
Okay.
How digital people make my teeth itch.
Yes.
That's all I say.
You never on Telegram. You never responded to my criticisms of the Tomorrow War.
I did.
Well, I said it didn't make sense that whenever they decide to, well, first of all, why are they recruiting everyday citizens and barely training them for the draft? And that part didn't make sense to me. And also, if they're recruiting everyday people to fight and die, why are they not, whenever they send them into the future via teleportation, why do they drop them above skyscrapers and not like, why can't they have them descending peacefully like whenever you see the soldiers come from the future, they're kind of descending, smoothly sideways. But whenever they put them in the future, they drop them above skyscrapers, and the only way to survive is to hope you land in the pool on top of one of the hotels. Why are they why are they put there? Or if they have no reason to teleport them, the only way they can is above. Why can't they do it above the lake or above the ocean or something? Why the skyscrapers?
They covered that it was a glitch.
Huh?
They covered that it was a glitch
It was a glitch in their.
in the sending. Like as
Huh.
Chris Pratt being beamed up, there's a glitch,
Uh,
like a power surge or some bullshit. But that's a writing construct because if there would have been that entire group of people, they would have destroyed the alien attacking them.
mm-hmm.
There's 30 guns on each alien every time an alien presented themselves. would have been a line of people going up the stairs with 16 guns on every corner, 30 bullets a second hitting each of those aliens. It would have been a cakewalk. Even if half the people froze, that's still an entire fire team putting lead on one of those white claws, like at each opportunity.
That movie reminded me of Starship Troopers without
Yeah,
time travel.
yeah, well, yeah, but Starship Troopers had better training.
Yeah, it did, and I didn't like how the Queen Alien looked a lot like the others, except for it had a red patch on it. Like it should have
Right.
been a bigger bitch, like the Alien Queen in the second Aliens movie.
Mm-hmm.
But those are my criticisms of the movie: bad Queen Alien and the glitch.
Yeah, well, the glitch was covered, and the Queen Alien was twice the size of the other ones, but the size of the other ones is really not well defined
Hmm.
because there were ones inside that were the size of the damn hallway. Outside were big enough to flip a Humvee when charging. It just
You still there?
what was that?
You still there, or are you done?
No, I had a phone call coming in from Facebook.
Hmm. Other than that, I can't recall what movie I'm looking forward to next. I have yet to finish that Chaos Walking movie.
Chaos Swamp.
The one with Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, where the thoughts appear outside the guys' heads.
Oh, oh. Or the Alien versus Predator Queen was huge. Yeah, and so was the Queen and Aliens. Um, I think it's pretty much hilarious that like I used to mock Jason Statham for fist fighting a megalodon, but Chris Pratt fist fighting this queen was equally as just what the fuck, man.
Hmm.
Ridley didn't go hands on. She got a machine to whip alien ass. Like you're fucking knife fighting a claw wielding, like you don't hand to hand a tiger, let alone something that could eat a tiger easily. But whatever. That's action movies for you. Knife and win.
Flapchat recommended some movies, and I still have yet to watch them. One of them is that musical with Rachel McAdams, and I have yet to watch it.
Musical with Rachel McAdams.
I think it's a Netflix film. I don't remember the name of it.
I thought it was like LA Enchanted or something. I don't.
That's an Anne Hathaway film that I've never seen.
Is it Anne Hathaway?
In Ella Enchanted, yeah, or unless you're thinking of the Amy Adams movie Enchanted.
Enchanted. Maybe that's. I don't know. I don't even care. I do not care.
I actually like Enchanted as well.
Oh, cool.
It's one of the first movies. It's the first Disney movie where you actually see the cartoon get live actioned. But Disney is so fucking greedy. They didn't make. They're not going to make the main princess in that movie is played by Amy Adams, and they do not include her in the Disney product line, and they won't because they don't want to continue to pay likeness rights to Amy Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't recall much merchandise from that film either, even though they could have gone all out.
Probably. One.
I'm pretty sure there are many movies where characters don't die from a gunshot. Responding to Sally. Are you referring to just action movies or? Is that we're buying a zoo or we bought a zoo? I saw part of that, and I think Scarlett Johansson's in it.
What's a gunshot reference?
Huh?
What's the gunshot reference?
Earlier in the chat, she said she hasn't seen many movies where a character doesn't die of a gunshot.
Oh yeah, like way too quickly. Unless it's the good guy.
Yeah.
I still remember the Rambo. I think it was Rambo 4. Rambo is behind a Browning, just blowing people away, cutting them in half, and he gets shot by a 50 cal in the. He's literally dissecting, like blowing them into pieces
Mhm.
with his machine gun, and then he gets hit by the same round, and it's a flesh wound to the shoulder. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, should have curled more. That would have stopped them from being blown in half. More sit-ups.
that kind of reminds me of that John Cena movie, The Marine, where somebody breaks a huge wooden pallet over him and it doesn't hurt him that much, or he's in the middle of an explosion and it doesn't singe him or anything, it just blows him backwards. Like, that would do more damage even to a Marine if they're right against an explosion.
Yeah, like the Joker in the Nolan movie when he's blowing up the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
A door slamming is almost loud enough to make you audibly flinch, from a noise. The
Mm-hmm.
entire hospital blowing up should have been more than a stumble while you're walking away. You should have been affected by heat.
I think those movies were too popular for my taste. I've only seen them once, so I couldn't tell you the details or anything of any of the Batman movies, the Nolan movies. I can say the Anne Hathaway merchandise is selling okay from that film, but not as well as the Michelle Pfeiffer stuff.
People who shoot people based on movies are going to be really surprised when when the person doesn't immediately die from a shot to the stomach.
I came across an internet article a few years ago where these black guys tie up a bunch of white people. I can't remember what city it was in. All I remember was at the trial, before they killed the white people, they had them drink cleaner fluid or some kind of chemicals, and they were hoping they would die right away, like they saw in one movie, and the article even referenced the movie. And of course, they don't die right away. They foam at the mouth and have convulsions and all kinds of stuff before dying.
Mhm. Like, even if you shoot somebody in the heart, it's still a minute before that person dies. Blood is still in the system. The heart stops pumping, and then it's the same as a blood check. Then you die.
You know, the last movie I can think of where a character gets injured and the character that did the injuring looks at that other character and says, I know, it takes longer to die than it does in the movies. Was Scream 4 when Hayden Panettiere gets stabbed in the gut.
That's true.
What?
But it's true.
Yeah.
Human
God.
beings are more resilient and less resilient than some people think.
What some people think?
More resilient and less resilient. Like, a 40-foot fall could break all the bones in your body or sprain your ankle. Like, there's a huge difference even between people on what could been damaged. Like, there's a TV show that was called 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yep.
And this dude got hit by a car. The car was doing 50, and he died. And then there's cars doing 50 that you don't die. And one guy died from a pork chop to the chest.
A what to the chest?
Pork chop bone.
Okay.
A wife threw her pork chop at her husband, and it ninja starred into his chest and hit him in the face.
Some of the episodes of 1,000 Ways to Die, I think, are too far fetched, and that sounds like one of them.
No, they're all based on an actual.
Matt said his favorite 1,000 Ways to Die episode is where the fellas were snorting fire ants.
I've never wanted that.
There was one of them I thought sounded realistic, is where these two guys are working at like a bakery or something, and they were in that one room when they were flinging chocolate everywhere, or cocoa, and something about the cocoa, it sucked all the oxygen out of the room, and they suffocated.
Okay, I've never heard of that, and that's dumb.
I don't know if it was cocoa. It could have been something else.
Did George Bush Sr. survive an airplane jump? I doubt he ever jumped out of an airplane. But the short answer is no, he's not dead. So
Didn't he survive the Vietnam War?
We Bought a Zoo was all right. I haven't seen We Bought a Zoo, but apparently Matt Damon gets shot, and Matt Damon sucks. So we got that cleared up. Matt Damon recently came out and he learned
Matt Damon what?
that he played a Trump supporter, and he learned, or no, he played maybe somebody on the right or something. But anyways, he learned that Trump supporters were playing a conservative role or whatever.
Okay.
I'm so embarrassed by politicians. I'm no longer Republican or conservative. I'm just.
You're just here.
Right. I'm right. I'm on the right side. I'm right. I'm right leaning, right wing. I got my death squads.
You sound like so many people, but whenever I get jaded or disillusioned, I run to you, and you have a talking point.
but it's definitely that the Republican Party doesn't have any balls, and conservatives aren't conserving shit right now.
That's the argument that Tim Pool has been preaching for the last few months or so.
Mm-hmm. But at this point, I'm giving, I'm giving up on gender stuff. Fine, you can have 57 genders.
No. I get that is stupid. Like you cannot give in to stuff like that. These fuckers are changing our language and they're changing what we know to be about biology. And if you give in to him, plus there be a
Gender,
huh?
pangender. You can have your pan gender. You can have your goat gender, your fucking whatever gender. But there are two sexes, male and female. You have a penis or a vagina. There is no feminine penis bullshit.
I'm not even gonna give in to any of that shit. You give in to their delusions, you only enable it. And plus, if you expect all of society to you can't expect all of society to go along with this bullshit because what they do is they change their gender in another day, or they'll change it just because they want to on a whim, and there's no communication. You can't communicate that way.
No, no, I'm not doing pronouns or anything like that. You can be your pan gender or your omnigender or your gender or whatever. But if you have a penis, you're a he. Your vagina, you're a she. And my company that I work for, called the fucking city, agrees with me. If
Okay.
you're female but look like a man in an emergency, you're a man. If you're a man dressed as a woman but have a beard, and I say that bearded man right there, it's fully acceptable.
There is a lot of chicks that look like dudes.
That's fine. But in most parts, it's like U3, U5, U7.
I don't think they try to look like dudes. I think they just happen to.
But in all my reporting, there isn't a he, she, anything like that. It's their name. It's their legal name. You know, like this, Michael Bird is this guy who shot Ashley Babbitt.
Mm.
It would be either Lieutenant Michael Bird or Lieutenant Bird. There's no he in my report. Yeah, there's there in my report. It's Michael Bird. Michael Bird was on the other side of the glass. Babbitt, not he. Ashley Babbitt. It's all by name, so there is no pronoun usage in my report. So, there's no everybody. So
You
don't
broke up on that last part.
There's no ladies and gentlemen. It's everybody listen up.
Okay.
It's not Byrd, it's Byrd, Bird.
Why did Trump take 6 months or longer than 6 months to actually say Ashley Babbitt's name?
That pissed me off. Who shot Ashley Babbitt? Why don't you answer that? Because you were still president 2 weeks after that happened. How do you not have that information?
And he hasn't said that he's contacted her family or anything.
Yeah, well,
But yet he'll see George Floyd's family.
did he see George Bush's family? I mean, that happened a year ago.
Yeah, whenever he was president and the video went viral, he saw like the members of the Floyd family went to the White House and he talked to them, but I don't recall, or something like that. But I don't recall the family. I don't think I've ever even seen interviews with the family, probably because they are a bunch of low
Easy,
class people.
easy now.
They probably are. That's why you're not gonna see much videos of them because the media wants to perpetuate the lie that he was a saint and he wasn't. And
His mother and uncle have both come out against different BLMs and calling them, um, extortionists and
this is the mom and dad of Floyd.
mom and uncle,
Um,
his brother, I guess, brother, one of them, have both come out, and I think his sister too. She denounced Black Lives Matter and said
good,
all,
good for them.
yeah,
Oh, there was the only thing you know what? The only person wrote that was associated with him that I've seen video footage of is his girlfriend during the court testimony.
mm,
That he nicknamed Mama, and that's who he was most likely crying for whenever he was arrested and overdosing.
classy guy. Yeah, I don't care for it. He was a thug.
Huh?
He was a thug.
Was he a thug in his last days, or was he just a junkie?
I don't know for sure.
Well, there's a difference between being a thug and being a junkie. If you're a thug, that means you're aggressive and you're hurting other people. And from what it sounds like, yeah, he was a thug in his past, but it sounded like he was just a druggie his last days on Earth.
Druggies still hurt people. Oh, excuse me. Hiccup. Dr- Druggies still hurt people.
Well, was there any documentation on his arrest record or that like assault or anything in his last few days or his last few years?
I don't know.
I don't I don't know either, and I don't care enough to do any research on it.
I know. I thought his well, obviously he hurt that business, cashing that fake 20.
Yeah, that's a non-violent crime. I mean, you're defrauding somebody, which is bad,
Hmm.
but he wasn't hurting other people like a thug would.
True.
Hmm. Speaking of hurting, have you seen clips from the UFC fight from Saturday?
No.
Oh gosh, like the only time I've ever seen bones being dislocated was on that. I can't remember what show it was, but one of the skaters lands the wrong way, and you see his forearm bent like a solid 90 degrees. It wasn't his wrist; it was his freaking arm. Like in the middle of his forearm was bent 90 degrees because whenever he landed and he broke his bone, ugh. And it all happened inside of the skin, inside of the muscle, ugh. And that was McGregor. His
Well, I saw a UFC fight probably in the early days of UFC where
uh, my sister-in-law said she said she used to watch it religiously, and she said in the very beginning of the UFC fights is whenever they had less rules and whatnot. She said, I like to see blood, and I'm like, there was blood a few times tonight. She said, that's just a little bit. Whenever they first started, the whole floor was covered in blood, and the fighters had to be careful not to slide on it.
there was some of that, but
You were saying in the early days of UFC.
I think it was Andre Orlov. I think it was.
Hmm.
Yeah, round kick, and it got blocked by a shin, and his leg snapped.
The one doing the roundhouse kick.
Yeah, cracked his tibia and fibula against a shin bone.
Ouch.
Yeah, and so he kicked, and then he pulled his leg back, and he went to stand on it, and he collapsed, and it folded sideways.
That's what McGregor did. Like his back leg was his while he was like jostling or parrying or whatever, like his back leg landed wrong and it and it broke. He
Good
wasn't
boy.
doing a round Yeah, he wasn't doing a roundhouse kick or anything. He was just keeping his distance before he could get a swing in and bam, it broke.
That's fucked up.
It was, and it was in the first round, and uh, my sister-in-law was like, "God, I hope this isn't over in the first round." And she didn't watch any of the fights except for Thompson, because I texted her a picture. I'm like, "Ooh, this guy's fighting. I'm gonna watch this one." And she was like, "I'll be in there in a minute." And but other than that, she didn't watch any of the other fights, and except for whenever the main one started between McGregor and Poirier, she went in there. She said, "I want to see McGregor lose." And she said, She said, "I hope Poirier bloodies his face up." And she didn't like McGregor. She says that whenever he was the underdog, we all loved him, but over the years he's gotten cocky and it's gone to his head. So therefore she's lost all respect for him. I don't know how much of that stuff is scripted or how they like I know they trash talk each other. I don't know how much of it is legit. I don't know how much of it is real, but eh,
I haven't had respect
I
for a UFC fighter since Tito Ortiz early days. Tito
I don't know
Ortiz
anything
is
about him except for his ex-wife is Jenna Jameson, and they had a brutal divorce, and it was a really nasty divorce. But to his credit, he got custody.
good or bad or whatever. I don't know. But Tito Ortiz was 18, and he was training against like some legitimately badass opponent,
Hmm.
like Abbott and other fighters of that time were his training partners.
Okay.
And like everything before Chuck Liddell, he was legitimately a well-rounded wrestler fighter. And then Chuck Liddell started getting popular, and I never respected Chuck Liddell. Like the best takedown defense in the game. And I'm like, no, that's just hype. Like you got to take him down, and he fights you. Legitimately, everybody does that. And Chuck Liddell would still get taken out 2, 3 times in a round, but he has the best takedown defense. No, if you want to be serious, the Gracies have the best takedown defense, and that's they jump to the ground as soon as you attempt to take them to the ground, and then they beat the holy hell out of you.
Hmm. Yeah, I could watch another fight or two, but I'm not I'm not paying ESPN just to watch UFC.
Yeah,
But
I stopped watching UFC when they started manipulating the rules.
that was another one of her complaints was that it's become so corporatized over the years that it's become more and more mainstream, and because of that, it's lost its appeal as far as she's concerned.
Mark Coleman out of Ohio,
Hmm.
really one of the world's best wrestlers, and he's basically the father of ground and pound.
Okay.
Uh, Dan Severn who's a family friend, um, literally would take you to the ground and then choke you out. His first appearance in the UFC, he threw 2 punches in the whole um, fight, and he was in 3 matches.
And what?
He was in 3 matches. He threw 2 punches.
Cool.
10 UFC. But Coleman becomes the UFC champion, and he is legitimately, tactically one of the best wrestlers in the world at that point in time. He's just not exciting. He's not a brilliant guy. He's not a good talker. He didn't have an audience that liked him. They liked to watch him, but he had following. There weren't, Colemanites or whatever you want to call them. So
Are there McGregorites?
Probably something to that effect. He didn't have a fan base, but he was legitimately one of the best in the business. So they started tweaking the rules, like no back of the head shots. Legitimate claim. No one can be punched in the back of the head. It's not equality. It's just something that'll hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
So then no elbow. So I can punch you with my elbow standing up, but I can't punch you with my elbow on the ground. I can't kick you in the side of the head on the ground, but I can kick you in the side of the head while standing. Like, they just didn't make sense. And they added those to get Coleman out. And I was like, no. And until then.
Is that whenever you stopped watching?
Mm-hmm. Because it was about corporatism instead of athletic achievement.
And that makes sense.
The entire process behind the UFC was to get Stallone to fight Schwarzenegger. Was to get Van Damme to fight Steven Seagal. Dolph Lundgren to fight whoever the
Jet
fuck.
Li.
Yeah, it was to legitimately pair movie fighters and have them actually fight.
Oh Lord, you try to get any of them Hollywood actors to actually fight, and I don't see that happening because the Hollywood makes so much money off of them and their faces in films or whatnot. They try to keep them in pristine condition.
So they couldn't get that through. So what they did was, okay, well, Stallone won't fight Schwarzenegger, so we'll put Schwarzenegger against the karate guy and Stallone against the kickboxer. And Jean-Claude Van Damme can fight Sambo guy. Just regular master of Sambo and kickboxer and karate guy. And so they brought in other fighters. And eventually all dropped out, so the other fighters were paired against fighters from other disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got the first. Because people were buying into it, and the Gracies bought into it, and that's why they were like the first family of MMA.
Is there any rigging that goes on in UFC? I remember hearing about there was one big fight with Oscar De La Hoya, and it was all over the commercials and everything. And I didn't watch the fight, but I just heard everybody bitching about him losing afterwards, and they said it was because the mafia got involved and threatened him and forced him to take the fall.
Was that boxing? UFC. I never heard of
That was boxing.
Oh, okay.
But I'm wondering, is there any kind of rigging that goes on in the UFC? One of my customers who owns a dojo told me about Jason David Frank because that guy lives in not Houston, but he lives in
Tommy?
one of the Houston's. Yeah, Tommy, the Jason David Frank, and yeah, he lives somewhere here in Houston. He has a house. He has a mansion actually, And but he said that whenever he was fighting in the UFC, he would pay the other fighters to take the fall in some of his rounds, and a lot of people got tired of shit like that. But I don't think he went very far.
Now, are you talking UFC or do you mean MMA? UFC is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. MMA is mixed martial arts. You work your way up mixed martial arts to get to the UFC.
Okay, so it's possible he was just in MMA and didn't get far.
Yeah, he could have been in a local Houston MMA club that would host tournament nights where you would fight, and he paid people to take dives. That's understandable. But the UFC, that's fraud if you did it at that level. I mean, it's fraud at lower level too, but lots of people care about it.
I don't, and if I cared enough to look it up, I would have to, or maybe if I see that customer again, I'll ask him if it was MMA or UFC.
What'd I miss?
Even mixing up MMA and UFC.
And I asked him if he saw the clip from Saturday where McGregor broke his ankle.
Kimbo Slice videos. Kimbo Slice was ridiculous. That was a big dude. I mean, he's no Bob Sapp, but Kimbo Slice is a muscular.
There were two muscular guys that fought on Saturday, and I went outside to smoke a cigarette for that one.
Did everything work out? Did everything work out?
Not really. But luckily it's like 11:30 in Miami, so it can happen tomorrow.
Fuck it. All right.
What's going on in Miami? Is there a big storm?
No, I think the storm already went through Miami.
Yeah.
But just work problems. The dude was in Fort Lauderdale, so he can call in tomorrow.
All right, let's sign out of here and go to the after hours.
Oh, we're done here? That's awesome. I missed most of it. All right. Well, I'd say goodnight, everybody, but it looks like Garrick already went nighty-night. And
oh, yeah, he left me like 10 minutes after you did. I had to bring in Steve.
Gotcha.
Steve-O.
And I was taking a nap, and here Jay Price, Steve Adams, like, I put in the live chat, he says, take care, tell us, hey.
Well, thanks for pinch hitting tonight. That was awfully kind of you.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation.